My name is Dan McCormick. Good morning and welcome. If we have not met, this is truly an honor. This is something that really began for me about 2 years ago after being involved in this mission-driven entrepreneurial world that I've been in since 19 years of age. And 2 years ago, almost to the day, 2 years ago, I found an ignition switch to flow in my life when I walked into a convention and that was on the desk. That was inviting me to say, Dan McCormick. Brittany Cornine looks at me and she simply says, Dan McCormick hasn't read Miracle Morning. Long story short, I read it. I watched the documentary. I literally became friends with Hal Elrod. He wrote the foreword to my book. It is called Awakening Who I Am. If we have not met, that is where we get the title of today's event. Ignite the flow of I am. The two words to transform your life. Now, in order to transform, inspiration requires transformation, and we are going to help everybody here today. Hopefully you have your journal or something to take notes with. It's going to be an incredible show. I've got a special guest to share with you as well. We started in April with just, 18 people. And I thought, could we contribute to the idea of I am each and every month in a masterclass format? Could we offer something generic to the world? Doesn't matter if you're in business, in school, in relationships, whatever those challenges might be, whatever those opportunities might be, is to ignite that flow. And I know that today we'll put some ideas and some phrases because I've lived them already today. It has been an unbelievable morning since 4:45 a.m. I want to invite you to take the journey with me to write in your journal right now, I am. And if your journal has an I am as a way of review, we're going to kind of let you go back and watch the recordings of the first four, if you will. The I means exist. Am means with God. The words that follow I am follow you. And so today, what we're going to do is I'm just going to look at my next slide here and have Jack bring that up. I want to just share with you what happened to our world in the last month. And I want you to also see if you can add to your journal. And I'm going to invite you in just a minute to put it in chat. Anybody feel free to put your wins in the chat. But in the last 30 days, unbelievable. Here we are starting a brand new company at affirmim.com with a brand new book that's now done, 10,000 views in the last 30 days. We started from nothing. We started just making great content that can enhance the I am flow of your life. And 32 new videos. Our team is just unbelievable. We finished the Awakening Who I Am audiobook. Now, full disclosure, I imagine that some of you can look to some things that happened in the last month that didn't go exactly as planned. So here I am, my entire month of July. I have family at my house in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We have between 10 and 30 of us every single day. 4 married daughters, 14 grandkids, friends, neighbors, etc. Between 10 and 30 people at our house. And I knew that I had to make the audiobook version. And I had the company, the software, I had everything set up. I had all the lights green and I went live. I found my flow. I put all this time and energy to get to the right space to read the book to those that might want to listen to an audiobook. How many of you, show of hands, like an audiobook? I'm just curious if I see any show of hands. Put it in chat maybe if you say you love audiobooks. I went for 5 hours straight reading, going through the book, living it once again. And lo and behold, I submitted it to the company that I am working with that is going to put it in all kinds of different libraries in the world and platforms in the world. 5 hours straight, the recording was perfect, with the exception of one thing. The microphone light was on and green, but the computer overrode the software and it did not get my voice into the microphone. 5 hours. And I said, Whoa, that's a big stressor. I had to reset the mind and say, I am learning. I am growing. I am grateful. So we redid it the next couple days to a week, and it's absolutely going to be a blast to join with you on that. So we finished the Awakening Who I Am audiobook. If you had something go wrong in the month that didn't go perfectly as planned, can you reshape the paradigm and say, I am learning. I am grateful. I am grateful for that experience. The other thing that's cool is that our coin is now minting. We are so excited. If you have not heard the previous four sessions, you'll note that we went through the 7 levels of affirmations. I believe it was 2-3 months ago. And one of those is to feel. We want to stack every possible win. We'll get into more of this later. I get on a roll here, and we're going to go through our 35 minutes in a hurry. The other is that we now have our affirmation journal. So I like to wake up, and I'm going to just full disclosure with you, tell you this morning at 4:45 when I woke up, my mind was in a complete blank space. And I heard a quote yesterday. I wrote it down in my journal, and it simply said, I don't know what I think until I write it down. I don't know what I think until I write it down. And so I simply turned to my journal and I started writing, and I started finding this incredible flow to my morning. I wrote, I am a creator. I wrote, I am light. I am a friend. I am grateful. I am a child of God. So the journal is now available. You'll find it on our site a little bit later on. So put in chat there, what are your wins last month? What books have you read? Who have you served? Business wins, personal wins. If you're new today and this is all new to you, I am might be that awakening. That is the idea of exactly where we're going here. Let's go to the next slide, Jack, and let's talk about this phrase, to ignite. Let's ignite the flow. And that is the way you get there is flow before phone. I have a quote from a guest that's going to be on in just a minute that texted me in the last week. Thank you for the flow before phone. The last few days have been literally life-changing for me. If we go to the next slide, I'm going to share with you what is flow. Flow is this unbelievable focus, this concentration, this relaxation. As a tennis player, as a kid, we called it getting in the zone. Well, the science of flow really started with Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. If any of you have this book, it is a deep dive. There is all kinds of science on what is flow. Now, I always learn from Stephen Covey, what is the opposite of flow? Well, it's distraction. Let's just take an example for a minute and look at what has created an opportunity for you to separate yourself from every other mission-driven entrepreneur in the world. And that is to do that 1%, to get into everything possible, not on your phone. The absolute biggest challenge in the world today is the awakening, turning on the phone, looking at text, looking at social media, looking at email, looking at every other comparison possibility that zaps your energy. So what is the opposite of that? Flow, if you go back to one of our previous classes, we talked about neurogenesis. Get into flow first thing. First things first, Stephen Covey called it, when you can immediately turn to something like your affirmation journal and you can begin the programming of your day. I know some of you on the phone, on the broadcast right now are dealing with health challenges, alarming health challenges. Like, wow, how could this happen to me? Health challenges. So whenever I hear that, even my own granddaughter last week, I wrote down to my daughter and her as she was going to get some treatment, I am healing. I am whole. I am healthy. And she appreciated that, this 11-year-old sweet girl, one of the most vibrant, beautiful spirits on the earth. So with that being said, now we have a little idea about what flow is. Let's go to the next slide, Jack, and let's say, if I asked you this question, there's a high achiever that is on this broadcast right now, that last year I asked the question, on the scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate yourself? If you're new to us and you're not familiar with our 18-minute affirmation video, it will completely change your life. It's absolutely heavenly the way our 18-minute affirmation video is being received around the world, around the globe. Every type of individual, young, more mature, more aged, if you will, 18 minutes is 1% of your day. 18 minutes is just 1% of your day to put you ahead of 95% of the people in the world. What can you put in chat? There you go, Trish, right at a 10. Maybe it didn't start that way, but this individual, this high achiever that I asked this question, where would you rate yourself? I know I would have been on the lower half of the scale last year. When I realized I needed to become the book, I created this video for me. I created this video so that I could learn to flow first thing. I get to choose the programming of the words and the sense of gratitude and all of those things that go before phone. And sometimes you want to go hours before phone, 7 to 10, okay? It's different for everybody, but this individual said 3. And I thought, this high achiever, this extraordinarily well-educated, schooled, professional in every category is fighting for flow. And so when you think about it, in the first 90 seconds of that video, it's asking you to breathe. The science of flow gives you the opportunity, the greatest, most affordable prescription any one of us could ever have to find our flow is to breathe. It's free. We all get to work through the breath. And in that first 90 seconds, I used to wake up and do Wim Hof's 11-minute breathing session. And then I learned a little bit more about what the SEALs do and the box breathing. If you haven't been with me on any of my shows before where I talk about box breathing, it's simply the count of 4 or 5 in, hold for 4 or 5 counts, exhale almost to the point where you can't hear it to 4 to 5 counts. And with no oxygen in the lungs at all, hold that for the breath of 4 or 5 counts and then return. And that's the box. So breath in, hold, breath out, hold, breath in, hold. If you'll give yourself that opportunity in the first 90 seconds, perhaps it will absolutely ignite your flow. If you can flow before phone, you can flow with your breath, your day can start off with an incredible jolt. Let's see if I can go to the next slide. If there's any of these wins, I'm seeing a lot of things in the chat here. Let me pop that up and let me see if I can go to that next slide here. So flow before phone, that's one. That's one idea today that can be life-changing for you. Affirmations, I am. Okay, we know what those mean based on what we've said. If you followed the tools, the content, if you've been to the website, if you've been to our YouTube channel, and then the community. All of us right here sharing ideas. And I see Tiffany. I am a magnet for miracles is one of the things that I wanted on the coin. I wanted you to be able to feel it. I wanted you to be able to stack the wins. I wanted you to be able to use the visual, the auditory, the kinesthetic. And so when we create when we write a book, that's one thing. It's a co-creator book. It's not my book. It's our book. You're going to co-create from the very first page. You're going to say, I am co-creating. You're going to sign the opening page as the co-creator. You're going to work with us together to absolutely alter your life. You're going to take the quote that's in my book from Hal, and Hal said, I believe that affirmations are the most underutilized aspect of all of self-help. I want us to flow together using affirmations, writing affirmations, and then the community that we have here on a monthly basis to do this masterclass, to be able to go out to the world to offer an idea. Ideas can be life-changing. The execution of the idea is really, really amazing. Let's go to the next slide, Jack. So if we flow before phone, I want you to meet my friend Deanne here. And I've known Deanne for 10 or 15 years. And I just know that she has a share that might be an awakening for you. Deanne, are you with us? Let's see if we can get you off mute and onto the screen. How are you doing today? I don't know if she...
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound great. How are you this morning?
I am fabulous.
Take it away and tell everybody what you texted me last week. Even go prior to that, the first time I offered the 18-minute affirmation video. You may have even heard it when it was 14 minutes. And I went back to my videographer and team and said, look, I think it just needs a little more time, a little more space. So walk us through the journey for you of finding flow.
Okay. Well, of course, when I heard about your video, whatever Dan says to do, I'm going to do, because I've been following you, mentored by you for many years, and you've always been life-changing for me. So I tried this affirmation video and I just couldn't do it. I could not get through more than a minute or two of it. And I kept getting so frustrated, wondering what was wrong with me. And I'd go a few weeks without trying, and I'd try again, and it just didn't work for me. And I thought, okay, this just isn't for me, this whole meditation thing. But what is it that they say, the student's ready? When the student's ready, the teacher appears. So I think it was last Saturday that I was laying in bed and I thought, okay, I'm going to try this one more time, because my life is crazy. I'm 60 years old. I still work as a full-time litigation paralegal from home, which is a crazy stressful job. I'm blessed to be able to watch my little 3-year-old granddaughter since she's been 4 weeks old. Her little brother will be joining our routine in another 4 weeks. And all the other things I have to do in a day, I just kept pushing myself, and I have to be better. I have to get more done. I felt like I was on this treadmill, just going faster and faster and faster, and I was kind of losing my mind. So last Saturday morning, I was laying in bed and I thought, all right, I'm going to try this. I had to search through my emails to find it, but I found it. And it was the first time I made it through, all the way through. And it was life-changing. And that was when I texted you and said, okay, I just got to tell you, this was life-changing. I never thought that I needed to quiet my mind and let inspiration come. Well, the night before, I had found out from a niece who was coming in from Utah that all of my nieces were coming and their families, and they wanted to come stay and have a big barbecue at my house and swim. I was a little bit panicked. That's a lot of people. My house was a disaster. But as I laid there listening to that video, it just all came into my head clearly, exactly how I needed to organize my day. My nieces all showed up about 4. We had food ready, the pool was ready, the house was ready, all the beds were ready for the kids. And it was amazing. It has literally been, it's only been a week now that I've been able to do this, but it has been life-changing for me. If I can add one more quick thing, I've worked for lawyers for 40 years. You got to be a little thick-skinned, because they can be tough to work for. And I have one that I work for right now that whenever he gets frustrated, he needs a kicking post. He needs somebody to yell at, somebody to just vent all his frustrations on, which he was doing that to me yesterday. And as I was listening to him and I felt myself getting frustrated, the thought that came into my head was, I am worthy of not being treated this way.
Wow.
And it didn't change him, because I said something to him, you can't talk to me like that. It didn't change him, and it never will. What it did was it shifted my heart, where his venting no longer affects me. I don't need that in my life. I will continue to do his work and do a great job for him, but his antics have no place in my world anymore. That's
Wow.
life-changing.
That's
It's
so
literally
heavy.
life-changing.
I'm just so glad that you referenced the middle affirmation in the book. I am worthy. You know,
Yes.
we have a great story in the book about somebody that found a small study with women that most women don't feel worthy, beautiful, or loved, and she makes pajamas with that written on the inside. So, Deanne, thank you so very much for the share. I love it when people share, because the journey is so special and unique. Nobody has your journey. It's your journey, your time. I recall the first time listening to Wayne Dyer last year when the awakening hit me in one of his affirmation videos. It was so surreal. It was so much I am present. I think I might have that on the next slide. Let's go to the next slide if we could, Jack. And let's take a look at that. Deanne, thank you so much for the share. I can't wait to continue to hear how the onion layers just continue to get peeled away about the 2 words that ignite your transformation. To go from I am a creator, the first affirmation from the first verse of the Bible, and what are you creating? My wife, I like to say, creates memories. Some of us create business opportunities. Some of us create indelible pieces of art through our writing, through our singing, through our working. Whatever you're on the journey of creating, it's powerful. I am intentional is why we're talking about flow. Because the intention of the world is to distract you, challenge you, knock you down, and the news media is going to do everything they can to absolutely make you the most negative, frustrated, anxiety-filled person on the planet in the next few months. But you and I get to choose, I am intentional. If we truly believe the power of those 2 words, if we truly believe and invest in that 1% every single morning, you can have the most intentionally beautiful life like Deanne just shared, and finding that flow. And when you find that I am present, and you can get to that space to where you're not in comparison and you're not looking at the past mistakes and the heavy laden things that are pulling you down, people saying negative things as Deanne experienced yesterday. We get to choose our response. We get to say, I am present. As Amanda says in my book, one of the greatest, highest producing, mission-driven entrepreneurs in the history of the direct selling world, a friend of mine in San Clemente, California, she's featured in the spotlight of the book, I Am Present. She says, I am present because I am prioritizing. I just thought that was amazing. As a mom, as a leader of thousands of women, I am present because I am prioritizing. And then she has an I am serving. So we can watch on our YouTube channel or the links that we send you. You can listen, you can speak, and if you use these affirmations to your benefit, I believe, as Hal Elrod believes, that I am affirmations are the most misunderstood and perhaps the least utilized tool that's free for us to change that paradigm and get after it right there. Shoot, I got to watch the clock as we go here. Let's see if we can go to the next slide, Jack. Jack is my great friend on the journey here, and I'm just going to kind of click into this here and just see this. So the master class has given us all kinds of incredible connection together, the co-creation. Sorry, did I hear something there, Jack? Okay, I thought I heard something.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay, I just want to scroll down here and just see some of the other comments here. I just love Christiana saying, I am worthy. She was our guest last week, or last month, excuse me, on the masterclass. You could say, I am worthy. If you can invest, we actually created a video that's 7 minutes long. If you haven't seen it, it's in the YouTube channel. Maybe somebody can type in the YouTube channel link in the chat there. But I am worthy. 7 minutes long. If you need that reset ever, it's a very, very powerful thing for us all to connect with in the I am worthy category, as Deanne shared with us here today. So the master class, free class every single month. We go all in. We like to connect together, share the video with them. It will soften their heart. That's a good one there, Shar. And good morning, everybody. For some of you that came in after we started, I'm just looking at all the comments and I love the feedback. And I love the idea of this morning and what happened to me. So let me just share with you getting ready for this class. 4:45 a.m., I wake up to a blank space. My mind didn't have the immediacy to the connection, and I had to work for it. So here's another phrase that someone can write in chat. Not only flow before phone, but sometimes you have to fight for flow. I had to fight the battle of the mind. I texted Jim Rohn's famous 3.5 minute smooth mix piece today. Battle for the mind, Jim says. You got to battle for the mind. And so I'm thinking this morning, what's the first thing? The first things first for me was, how was I going to find that flow? How was I going to find that space? If I go down this rabbit hole, it's comparison. If I go to Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Facebook, any of those things, It's comparison. It's somebody else's highlight reel. It's possibly putting me in a state that I don't want to be in. But I went down this flow before phone. Dan, fight for flow, fight for family, fight for faith, fight for freedom, fight for financial freedom. I'm thinking about all of those things that I have the opportunity. And then when I got to the end of my 18-minute affirmation video, at the 17-minute mark, there was a beautiful little aha for me. You've done the programming. Now go out and watch the miracles happen. If anything like happened to Deanne causes you to lose that focus, the words at the end of that video in the 17-minute mark, 17:10, 17:20, shift back to gratitude. Truly get back in that space, and you will be the light to attract those miracles. You'll be able to seek and expect those miracles. So I couldn't be more excited that our masterclass has now been something of an unbelievable thing. What I want to share with you now is something I'm going to do in the month of September, because it'll mark the 2-year anniversary that I found flow getting off my plateau. I found what Hal gave me, and that was how to truly intensify and find the flow to my miracle morning. In the month of September, I believe that we'll be ready to launch the audio book, the coin, the book itself, and all these other things. But I'm also going to do a small mastermind that is going to be just a tiny little group of people to where we meet once a week. We're going to get together as a community collectively, and we're going to have a mastermind literally together, and we're going to go and peel away the onion layers of how do we get deeper? How did I 10x my life? What are the steps that I took? What are the sciences behind the affirmations, behind the science of flow, behind the 2 words to ignite? How do we peel away that onion for you? If you're at the space that I was at 2 years ago, look, I got this life that has rewarded me richly. It's got this incredible experience, and yet, why am I stuck? Why am I dealing with anxiety, ADD, lack of focus, as Deanne saying, hey, look, I turned on that video, that 18 minutes, that 1% of my day. I'm trying to program my life to be better than 95% of the people. I'm trying to get off of this plateau. How do I find that? What is the science behind that? So we're going to do a 4-week intensive. We're going to meet as a group once a week. We're going to also have one-on-one conversations for that week. I'm only going to allow a maximum of 12 people into this class. I just want to be able to really give you everything I've got that 10x'd my life. What 10x'd in my life? My attitude, my worth, my relationships, my listening skills. And I actually had just a plethora of financial abundance come my way. It was unbelievable. And so how did I stack all of those things? How did I understand what was coming for me? How did I have faith in the seeds that were planted? And hopefully maybe that resonates for you. If you're dealing with any of those doubts, anxieties, fears, ADDs, depression, and just that self-worth issue, and you feel like it may serve you, I made a video for you. It'll go out in our video. It'll go out in our email today. And we're going to do that September Transformation Mastermind, weekly one-on-ones, mastermind transformation every week in the month of September. And I just want to say that it is an unbelievable journey on what we have. We have ideas on how to take this community and just explode. And literally the idea, the very first seedling of a thought of writing a book a few years ago was, what can we do to take a world that is fixated on negativity and beat down? People wake up and they doubt their own worth every single day. I believe that your higher power would never do that to you. I believe that we can take every single person on the screen that's going to come along in your path and mine, and we can lift and filter for higher ground. I believe the quote by Goa says something like this: if life ever gets blurry, seek for higher ground. And I hope that that can strike you in such a way that If this masterclass serves you today, it'll take you to whatever level it needs to. You get to peel away that onion. If the September Transformation Mastermind can do that for you, then absolutely sign up today, because there's only going to be a few spots. I really want to be able to hone in a busy month of September that's going to lead to Q4 on how you set up your final Q4, how you show up to your world, your team, your families, and how you can ignite your transformation. And so hopefully, if you feel that that will serve you, if you feel that can inspire you, yeah, there's going to be a fee to that. We've invested incredible sums of money this year in our business and our company to make a transformation. And why did I do that? Because it was the investment in me. I'll never forget the first time I heard Jim Rohn say it. The greatest investment in the world you can make is in you. And so I hope and pray that if that serves you, then you'll join us on that journey. And let's see if we can go to the next slide here, Jack. It's an unbelievable QR code. It is the QR code that Jack taught me that I put on each side of my, everybody, as Deanne can do, you can take a picture of that QR code right there and go right to the Transformation Mastermind. I put a QR code on the side of my black Cybertruck. I waited 4.5 years to get the Cybertruck. And I kept talking to Jack. I said, what are some ideas? What are some things we can do to make this Cybertruck? Because people literally will drive down the road. They will yell at you. People have flipped you off because you're driving a Tesla Cybertruck. There is angst in the world. And Jim Rohn, I remember him telling a story when he was driving his motorhome through a stoplight and he was kind of slow to get going and people are honking at him, and Jim, in his peaceful, wonderful wisdom, said something along the lines of, I used to be like you. Just relax. Just go with it. And so I hope that if you can download the QR code, I put that QR code. What is your calling card in life? What's the QR code that's going to go on your car to tell people about your mission-driven venture, to tell people about how incredible you can make their life with your products, your service, your company, your book, your writings, your transformation? What is that QR code? Last month, I believe we had a picture of the Cybertruck with the QR code on the side of it and a big, like 12 by 12. So it's all gloss black with a 12 by 12 code on the rear trailer, on the rear bench, if you will. So we've had a lot of fun. Hundreds of people have downloaded that, and I've met so many amazing people. And so hopefully you'll download that for you. Let's go to the next slide if we can, Jack. And I think we can show you this incredible graphic right here that'll give you the date for next month's free masterclass. We're going to keep this rhythm going if it serves you, if it serves everybody, to make this an important 30, 35 minutes of your life each and every single month. I hope that you can look at that and say September 21st, it's 7 a.m. Pacific, just like the one today. That's where you use your phone for your intention. So you take your phone out right now, and we're going to go through more details on how you use your phone and how it becomes a tool for you, okay? Not happening to you. We're going to talk about that in the mastermind. So if you look at the phone and go to your calendar right now and put that in there, yes, we send the emails out, but you can also use your phone as a tool. That could be the idea for you that's life-changing today. So I love dates, times, and calendars. So thank you so much for putting that down. Let's go to the next slide, Jack, if we can. And I believe it's our last slide, is our last sim. There's a picture of the cover of the book. And what you can't see down there is I have a copy here that says Dan McCormick, Ken Shelton, forward by Hal Elrod. The one you're looking at says forward by Hal Elrod, afterward by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. That is one of the individuals that gave me the invitation to 10x my life. So he wrote the afterword because he's a master at understanding your future self. And how do you make your present better, as we've said? It's to make your future bigger. And when you awaken to a future of contribution, service, love, reward, it's going to change the present. When you change the future, your present gets better. And then you can look at your past and say, it happened for me, not to me. When you can look at your past and say, that person that treated me like that yesterday, Deanne said, that happens for me, not to me. That gives me a chance to do a sound check on my own worth. That person that maybe did you wrong in a business transaction, that person that treated you unfair, the person that flipped my wife off for like over a mile straight driving to the Spokane airport just 2 Thursdays ago, my wife and I just laugh. The person that said to us, pulling up at one of the supermarkets in Coeur d'Alene 3 weeks ago, we're loading our car. This lady walks by and she simply says, I don't know if I could ever drive a car like that. And my wife looked at her and said, guess what? You don't have to. So you get to say the things that happen for you change the present. Now we look at our future and say, we're going to do great things together. So you can go to our website. There it is. You can order the book, The Coin. And also, I believe, Jack, we're now offering the affirmation journal. If you guys want to get a little picture of that, there's my Awakening Who I Am affirmation journal. It's the first thing now. Remember, it's the first thing that I did this morning when I realized that incredible quote that I saw yesterday by Joan Didion, right? I don't know what I think until I write it down. Jim Rohn wanted me in the first seat to write it down, to take the notes. That's why we always have 2 books with us, one to read, one to write in. And I hope that today we've been able to serve in some way, capacity, shape, or form. And I hope that if it inspires you, you can be with us on the mastermind, the intensive next month. And I can't thank you all enough. Our time is up. I can't believe how fast 35, 40 minutes goes. But thank you for your comments. Thank you for your being willing to play all out, being able to write. And I hope that, I believe that was our last slide, Jack. So I hope that you go out and make this the best day of your life. Remember, if you find any point in time during the day when somebody attempts to strike at your worth, reset. That's what the affirmation video says. Shift back to gratitude. Can I close with this gratitude? And that is thanking you for trusting me and all of our friends collectively as a community to filter for higher ground, to say, I am abundant. I am a magnet for miracles. God bless you. Go out and make it the best day of your life. I look forward to being back with you and sharing with you again next month. And have a great day, everybody. Look at the thank yous. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Glenn, Julie. I'm a magnet for miracles. Everybody just type that in and feel what it's like. Write that, I am a magnet for miracles. And we got 7s in the screen for people that know what that means. That's the symbol of completion. That's the symbol of perfection. And if you added something to your life today in the co-creator space, then God bless you. All it takes is a single idea to make this the best day of your life. Thank you all. Bye for now.